what do you mean by tolerance? It is the greatest virtue. So I'll start with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Shiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayo Diraye Nashta Prayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtagi Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Govindaya Namo Namaha. Okay. The topic which I have chosen today is tolerance. So what do you mean by tolerance? We might have heard about this factor so many times, right? So why should we tolerate, or how much we have to tolerate? But what exactly it means? What is its importance in Krishna consciousness? How it is helping us in advancing spiritually? And we know, like, as long as we are in this material world, it is like dukkharya masashvatam, so full of miseries. We must suffer due to the pain caused by others, or a pain caused by our own body or minds, pain caused by the acts of material nature. So if we are not able to tolerate those disturbances, we won't be able to survive in this world, right? So likewise, we are going through the sufferings materially as well as spiritually. So in the material perspective, of course, like we will tolerate all these difficulties for our own sense perception, sense gratification. So people are very much tolerant, like if they have long ambitions for earning a lot of money, or if they are having ups and downs in their businesses or in company, if any issues pops up, and if there are any health issues, we are tolerating. So in so many ways we are trying to tolerate. And also, if the situation is not going as per our expectations, or if there are opinion differences between the families, friends, and if we are insulted just for not being a part of it, and we are getting insulted from others, and also the frustration being waiting in a long queue in bank, or something like some kind of frustration, or if you're stuck in traffic. So materially we will come across so many times this frustrations, and how we have to tackle that one. And also spiritually, like, but tolerating that troublesome in order to execute devotional service is very, very rare. And how we can learn to tolerate just by engaging in devotional service in all the circumstances, just by engaging in the devotional service. Even in the spiritual platform, it is not easy. Like, for example, book distribution, it is not an easy task, right? So whenever you are approaching the people, so they will confront you, or insult you, or laugh at you, or they won't be interested also. So they will put you in a provoking situation, obviously. But how expertly we can reach out books to others is determined by how much inner tolerance we have. And also personally, like, whenever I am trying to pre something due to my limited knowledge to the back home, our family members, obviously they will have an arguments to prove like their kind of their mode of worship is correct, or our the points will not be appreciated by them. But we should be tolerant. In the initial stage, I was also like that, but because I was completely reluctant coming while coming to ISKCON, and there were lot of pushbacks and issues and problems were going in my mind. But due to all this association, you all have tolerated my ignorance and forgiven my faults, and you had made sure, like, you had taken the conscious efforts to make us understand the honest facts, what exactly been given in the scriptures, or what is the purpose of our life, or why it is happening, why we have going through all this suffering. So, like, each and every aspect being described by you, So it helped me to develop in my spiritual path. So what do you mean by tolerance? Tolerance, as it is stated in 13th chapter, it is like to bear the insult and dishonor from others, not only materially. If you are in a spiritual path also, if you are having any impediments, you have to just tolerate and you have to move on. So that determines the like our growth in the spiritual platform. So in the famous sloka 2.14, Lord Krishna points out the impermanence of the good and bad times, and also emphasizes the quality of tolerance. So sloga goes like this, 2.14. Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkada aghama payino nityastamti diksha bharata. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They arise from sense perception. O son of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So Arjuna is raising question to Krishna, like why I have to fight and why I have to kill my own family members. Krishna replies, it is in the discharge of the duty, you have to tolerate the inconveniences in this material world. As we already discussed, material world is Dukale Masashwadam, full of miseries. So it is not permanent. So Krishna is stressing on that point, like non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress. It is like summer and winter season. So it is not like all the time summer or every time it will be winter, right? So there will be like a beginning and the end. So if like early, if it is a winter season, we are getting up early in the morning and we are taking the bath, and if it is summer season, we are going to kitchen and cooking. So we are not restraining from our activity, we are doing our activity and we are tolerating that situations, and we are going and moving forward, considering these all disturbances are arising from the sense perceptions or the contact with the material nature. And also the second thing is the temporary, it is all temporary, it is not permanent. So we have an idea, if it is summer and after a few months it like the winter will pops up. So likewise we are tolerating each and every situations in our life. And also if we are falsely identifying with our body, then we will take each and every disturbances to our heart. But in material aspect, there will be like so many disturbances or provocations, because the material nature is constituted like that. But if you are learning to tolerate everything, like by engaging in devotional service, it will be easy for us to undertake each and every hardships. So for the devotees, this tolerance factor is automatic. And also once we see in the level, okay, we are not body, we are soul, and we are eternal parts and parcels of Krishna. So with this intelligence, we will be able to see, okay, that guy whomsoever referring or provoking me is not referring to my body, he is not referring to my soul, he is just referring to this material body. So in that perspective, we will change our perception to view the things, right? How we should be tolerated, or how we should consider other people's treatment. And in the next sloka also, Krishna, in the next sloka also, Krishna says, like yam hina vyatan diyete purusham purushashrava samadukka sukham dhiram somrityavaya kalpade. Oh, best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress, is steady in both, is eligible for liberation. So Krishna is giving the assurity. So if we are having and if we are moving forward by not getting disturbed by the happiness and distress, obviously we will be eligible for liberation. So moving forward, and like we have to learn the tolerance without getting disturbed. So Prabhupada like patiently tolerated each and everything during his adverse times. That doesn't mean that he has to give up all his efforts and he has to look for some other option. But Prabhupada brilliantly tolerated everything in times of his frustration. And he was having the desire to build the Radha Krishna temple in New York. But he asked for the help from his God brothers. Even he approached government of India and all the business magnates, but they were reluctant to help, and they he didn't get that kind of favor from them. So, but with a handful of followers and with a very small amount and with his perseverance, he tolerated all these situation, and within a decade he emerged with not only one Krishna temple, more than 100 Krishna temples within 10 years all over the world. So that is the kind of tolerance he had exhibited, and we have to just follow or imbibe that quality, and we have to just follow or move forward in our devotional aspect. So these are the scriptural references to tolerance. And in Bhagavad Gita, 13.8 to 12, it is mentioned like tolerance is one of the aspects of knowledge that will help us to get out of the entanglement in material world. So it is described as one of the vital elements on the path of spiritual advancement. And in 1842 also it is mentioned one of the qualities of Brahmanas. And Srimad Bhagavatam 4.11.13, it is mentioned the Lord is very much satisfied with his devotees when the devotee greets other people with tolerance. That is the first factor which is mentioned by Swayambhu Manu to Dhruva. And mercy, and also friendship and equality. So if you're treating a people with a tolerance, obviously we will be spiritually wise, and we will be able to please Krishna. How we will be able to please Krishna? So if we are tolerating, then personally it waves the mercy from Krishna, and also we will be peaceful without getting agitated. So without being tolerant, you won't be able to be compassionate, and you won't be able to friendly. And if you are not friendly, then you won't be able to see other members as in part and parcel of Krishna. So we have to see others as a part and parcel of Krishna. So by this way, the tolerance also comes from knowledge. We are eternally the servants of Krishna. While seeing other members in this perspective, we can see others as equally, and Krishna will be pleased by that. And in SB 8.22.32, Vamana Deva said, because of Balimaraj's great tolerance, I have given him a place not obtainable even by the demigods. So Balimaraj has tolerated whatever been harassed by Vamana Deva. He tolerated everything, and at last Lord said that I will be the doorkeeper because of his tolerance and high level of dedication and surrenderness. And 11.19.36, Krishna said to Uddhava, tolerance means patiently enduring unhappiness. And in our famous Shastakam also, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Trinatapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manatina kitaniya satahiri. So that is the most important factor or the key requirement for the happy life. Because it lays the foundation for the spiritual advancement. Because if this quality is there and if we are inculcating that, then it is because it is highly recommended or highly needed to chant or perform any kinds of devotional service. So we should be more tolerant than a tree, and we should be in a humble state of mind, and we should not expect the respect from others, but we should give respect to all others. In that state of mind, if we are chanting, we will be able to chant the holy names constantly. So moving forward, why we have to practice tolerance. What is there in this tolerance, and why we have to practice? So we have to set up a mind that we have to prepare our disturbances and consider as a chance to improve. But like if they are emerging, due to if we are put into that situation, so without getting agitated or frustrated, so consider it as a chance to improve in our spiritual path. And also, in the famous quote by Amy Morin, like it is said, like the more you practice tolerating uncomfortable emotions, the more confident in your ability to tolerate distress, and you will be able to perform the, like it is necessary to reach the highest potential. Like if the gold is heated too much, then it will be you will get a pure, it will get better by heating more and more, right? So likewise, if you are put into the uncomfortable situation, like being angry or being wrong at someone, or if you are misunderstood or neglected or the insulted, so if we are considering all these are happening, or because we will take it into our mind, if we feel that all these are happening or coming, if we think like we are a body, but are these really affecting our soul? No, right? So obviously, like if we are changing our perspective, or if we are thinking or looking into that aspect in that manner, then obviously we will be tackled, and we will be able to um, uh, um, um, cultivate the quality of tolerance. So tolerance means actually we have the freedom to choose our battle, what to fight and what to not to fight, or else we will lose our higher purpose. What is our higher purpose? So we have to revive our lost relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have to go back to spiritual yoga, right? So that is our highest goal. So if we are allocating the time for these small things, we won't be able to we won't be able to concentrate on the higher things which we have. And we should be, the Lord has given us the free will, decide which like I should like which one is a priority, and you have to fight on that, unnecessarily not lament on the small things, and because it restricts our higher purpose. So the examples of Bhakti Vinod Swami Maharaj, um, Bhakti Vinod Thakur Maharaj, and here, like he was working as a magistrate in during British government. So during that time, he wrote so many books, and he was trying to preach Krishna consciousness to everyone. So he didn't challenge or oppose to the British government, but he know there is no point in confronting them, but rather than he utilized his position and he preached Krishna consciousness, and he wrote so many books. So due to that, we are sitting here and we are able to listen, and we are able to preach, or we are able to do at least 1% of spiritual activity. So he saw the higher purpose and he moved on in that path. And also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like Haridas Thakura was a great devotee, and he was, even though he was a Muslim, he was trying to chant, he was following the religious principles of Sanatana Dharma, right? So, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas Thakura was not allowed to enter the Puri temple, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't go to the Puri organization, and they didn't fight, or he didn't ask them to make Haridas Thakur to enter into the temple, right? So he know the higher purpose, because he has come here, he has descended to this material world to establish the principles of or um, to elevate that Krishna consciousness mentality in all these conditioned souls. So likewise, we have to choose our battle, which one we have to fight and which one not to fight, and we have to move forward in our spiritual path. And also it increases the spiritual blood, chitrata, and helps us to advance spiritually. So so what are the consequences of intolerance? In some situations, we are tolerant, and if some situations, if we are not able to tolerate, what are the consequences it will create? And we will look on that aspect with a very nice story of Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan was a great warrior and he had a liking for hunting. So usually he goes out for hunting along with his ministers and his pet hawk. But that day, he lost his way, and the day had been very warm and he was very thirsty also. But he couldn't find any water source because it was summer and all the water bodies had dried up. At last, he found a rocky cliff from where he saw the water was dripping down over the edge of the rock. So immediately he took his cup and he was prepared to quench the thirst. But immediately the pet hawk came and knocked his glass. This okay, first time he ignored whatever pet hawk has done, and the second time also the same thing happened, and the third time also the pet hawk behaved in the same manner. But actually he couldn't tolerate, and he warned pet hawk like if you are doing committing this again and again, then I will kill you, because I am dying with thirstiness. So the fourth time again, it did the same thing, and it knocked it over, and the cup fell on the top of the cliff. So out of anger, he took his sword from his bag and he killed the favorite pet hawk. So after that, he climbed on the roof, and where he saw the poisonous snake was spitting of his venom in water. Then he realized why Pethawk was stopping him from drinking water. But the time he realized, it was very late, and he lost his favorite Pethawk due to his intolerance and also uncontrolled anger. What are the consequences of intolerance? Because we won't be in that emotional stability, and it destroys our relationship. If he was patient enough, and he was able to analyze the situation, and if he was reacted in that manner, then obviously he could have he would not have lost his favorite pet hawk, right? So in the above story, we can clearly make out, if our tolerance level goes down, we become more irritable or more anger or more impatient. So if any provocations or anything occurs, so give time to settle down, otherwise we won't be able to react. We won't be the things won't go in the same manner as we expect, and later we will lament for the same. Moving forward, this is a very nice pastime. It shows the greatness of Vishnu. I think you all are aware of this pastime. So once there was a group of sages discussing about the topic, who is the greatest, whether Lord Brahma, Vishnu, or Shiva, because Tridevada, and they are worshipped by all this general population. And they decided, all these sages decided, okay, we'll send Bhrigu Muni to test who is the greatest. So first he went to Brahmaloka, and he had to test the quality of or the greatness of Brahma, right? So even though he approached, and he didn't glorify, or he didn't pay his respect to Brahma. So that invoked anger in Brahma, but due to his intelligence, he somehow subdued his anger. He was not agitated. He was agitated, and he was angry, and he couldn't tolerate the situation. Whatever the mental offense was committed by Bhrigu Maharaj towards Brahma. So somehow he subdued anger, but Bhrigu Muni could make out, okay, he is not the greatest personality, because he had been provoked by the situation which I have did through the mental offense. Again, he approached Shiva, Shiva Loka, and Shiva, due to the brotherly affection, he came forward to embrace his brother. But he said that don't touch me, like your body is fully smeared with dust, and you are wearing the skull, and you are living in a dirty place, and all these stuffs. He just provoked by words. So Shiva became furious by hearing all these stuffs, and he was about to kill Brigumuni by his trident, but somehow Parvati came and rescued Brigumuni. Then at last he went to Svedadipa, where Lord Vishnu is residing, and he committed the greater offense of kicking on his chest. So that is the greatest insult, right? So after kicking, Lord Vishnu got up and he caught hold of Brigumuni's feet, and he began to pray and glorify him. Oh, my chest is like thunderbolt, and your feet is like lotus flower. So whether something happened, like due to whether something happened to your feet due to kicking, and he also glorified that because of your presence you have purified the whole dharma. So with this he started even massaging the feet of Brigumani. So with this, he understood, like he, although he had gone to a greater extent and insulted Vishnu to the highest degree, but he tolerated everything, and he was tolerated all the activities of Brigumani, and he gave forgiveness. So later he concluded that all these tests, Vishnu is the greatest. So all these provocations, either mental or verbal or the bodily offense, these offenses are committed just to test the limit of tolerance. So Vishnu has exhibited the highest level, and this clearly shows Lord even tolerates just for the sake of their devotees. And this is the symbol of greatest tolerance exhibited by the Lord. And now we are moving on to the next session, types of tolerance. So, initial while starting the class itself, I told like we have to tolerate the situation or the pain caused by others, or pain caused by our own body or the senses or the mind, and also the pain caused by the acts of nature. So the first one which we are going to discuss is tolerance for self. So pertaining to this thing, like Rupa Goswami has given a famous sloka: Vacho vekam manasa krodha vekam jihva vekam udaropastha vekam etan vekan yo vishaheda diraha sarvam abhimam pritpim sashishyat. So a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the action of anger, and the urges of tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So if someone is insulting us, or like, we tend to tolerate that, right? So that is the basic necessity for everything. So tolerating the things which is coming from our senses, mind, body. So the first one which Rupa Goswami has stressed here is we have to learn to tolerate the desire to speak. So whenever we are getting time, we will be speaking all the time about the material aspects, or we want to glorify ourselves, or whomsoever representing our desires. By this way, we are satisfying our desires. But Krishna is saying here, like, if you are dovetailing your desires, or if you are talking about Krishna, or glorify Krishna, or glorifying the devotees, we will be able to able to like, by this way we will be able to tolerate that urge to speak. And also the mind's demands. We all know that our mind keeps on wandering from one thought to another, and it gives us so much of problems, stress, confusion, panicking situations, everything. But if we are channelizing it to Krishna consciousness activities, either by chanting or all these tests, we will be able to conquer our mind to an extent. And also controlling anger, that is the most difficult thing, because of his envious nature. So the basic root cause is envy. Even Durvasa Muni, he cursed Ambarisha Maharaja because he was upset with Ambarisha Maharaja as he broke the force. That was one of the external reason. But the internal reason is like he had that envy. Oh, everyone is glorifying Ambarisha, and they are not glorifying me. And he has been appreciated and respected for his glorious activities. So, because of that mindset, he couldn't tolerate that situation, and the anger aroused in his mind and cursed Ambarisha. And if there is envy, there will be the lack of tolerance, and we will be deprived of all these good qualities. And the next is controlling the desire to eat or please our tongue. So if we are taking the prasadam and it is satisfying the stomach and genitals, so by this way we are able to tolerate all these senses, the urges of the senses. Like we will be able to come over the situation and of the provoking situations. So the main thing here stressed upon by acharyas is like we have to tolerate our senses. One of the great example is Randi Deva. Randi Deva fasted almost for 48 days without water, and he was about to break his fast, and all his feast was getting ready. And suddenly one Brahmin approached him, and he said, King, like I didn't eat for so long, could you please spare some food? So without any second thought, Randi Deva gave one portion of his food. Then Shudra, and again he was about to break his fast with the remaining portion. And Sudra approached him, and he said he also gave the same reason, and the king gave the another portion. And third time he was about to break his fast, and that time Chantala, another man with dog skin. Can you feed me, because I have been I didn't get any food, and we didn't eat for so long. So he gave the remaining portion of his feast, which been prepared by others. And so just to think of the situation, he has been fasting for 48 days. Like even if we are doing Ekadashi or at least one day Nirjal, then the next day we will be like almost in this, we will have that giddiness, and we will be almost in that fainting situation, right? So at last the Chantala came, and he was very thirsty, and he was asking the king, although like I'm a low born, can you give water, because like I am very thirsty. So he gave that water also, and he happily gave water because he was not anxious, like how I will be able to satisfy the senses. So he said like, I don't want liberation, or I am not aspiring for 8 yogic perfections. But only aspiration is like I have to live among all these living entities, and I have to satisfy their desires or their urges, and also I have to take away their sufferings. So that is the mood of Randi Deva. So immediately demigods appeared and told, okay, we were testing you, but you tolerated all the urges. And like as if in the famous sloka in Bhagavad Gita, like if so many rivers are flowing into the ocean is not at all getting disturbed by the inflow of rivers, right? So likewise, if so many desires are flowing towards our mind, or the urges to satisfy our senses, if a devotee, if he is not agitated by the disturbances or the provoking situations, because his consciousness is like dovetailed to Krishna, like it is expanded in Krishna consciousness, so that desires or the provoking situations, it will not agitate him. And yet another pastime is of Sant Ekanath. And Sant Ekanath was a great saint in Maharashtra. And one person wanted to insult him because he was very much respected among the villagers. And that person hired one guy and promised some good amount of money. And if he was able to provoke anger in Sant Ekanath. So their plan was to spit on Sant Ekanath on his way back to home after taking his morning bath. So they planned everything like that, and that hired guy was sitting on the branch of a tree, and he spit on Sant Ekanath on his way back to home after taking his bath. So Sant Ekanath didn't his face or his behavior didn't change at all. So first time happened, okay, he ignored, and the second time, third time, fourth time, he ignored all the times, and it prolonged it for almost 108 times. So this hired person, he was thinking, what kind of person is this? Like I was trying to provoke anger in this person, but he is not at all agitated by the thing, whatever I am doing. So he failed and he couldn't provoke anger in Sant. Sant Ekanath tolerated all the difficulties from given by that man and used as an opportunity to take bath in the holy river. And he said that it is an opportunity for me to purify myself and nullify my sins. So this hired man came forward and he narrated the whole story, what exactly had happened, and the other man had promised a good amount of money. That's the reason he had done. So immediately Sant Ekanath replied, okay, you should have informed me earlier. I would have acted as angry. Because of that, you could have got your money back. So this is the level of tolerance which been exhibited by Sant Ekanath. So we are not saying like you have to tolerate in each and every situation and everything, but the thing is, like, if we are able to tolerate to some level, at least by following their path, because here all these examples, they are stressing on how to tolerate the provoking situation. And even if someone is criticizing you, and you just be fixed in Krishna conscious activities and not to be disturbed by the dualities given by this material world. So moving forward, the second type of tolerance is tolerating the miseries caused by others, adi bhautika klesha. So obviously in this pandemic situation, we are suffering too much, right? Coronavirus, bacteria, and other living entities. So all these are causing the miseries to every living entity, and even the loved ones, husband to wife, and wife to husband, children to parents, parent to children. So different people give different troubles, but we cannot avoid that situation. Rather, we have to move forward in our in our path. So one of the greatest example who exhibited this type of tolerance is Haridas Thakura. Haridas Thakura is a Muslim by birth, but he was chanting he dedicated his whole life for chanting and following the principles of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So once it was like he was chanting all that time, and the king got to know about the Muslim ruler got to know about the activities of Haridas Thakura, and he put him in jail. And there also he preached and made disciples due to his the determination and towards the Krishna consciousness. So again, the king warned him, like, if you are not taking up the Muslim religious practices, and if you didn't give up this religion, then you will be condemned to death. So when Haridas Thakura heard this, like there is a famous sloka in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he said that even if you are cutting my body into pieces, like I will never stop chanting. That was his tolerance level. So he had no fear of death. And he said that even if you're killing me, then like my body will keep on chanting the names of Lord. So immediately the king asked his men, like to beat him in 22 marketplaces. Like he was beaten by all his ministers in 22 marketplaces, and he was thrown to a holy river. And in that also, like in his subconscious mind, he was tolerating. Externally he was acting as like he went to samadhi and stopped breathing. But when he regained the consciousness, he was in that mood. How much he had tolerated all the difficulties given by this Muslim ruler, but he was his determination towards the holy name was more powerful. And after hearing this, the Brahmins approached him, and they said, like, you should be condemned. Like why you are so much tolerant, and you are taking all these situations without provoking. But immediately he replied that I am the one should be condemned, because I was hearing like the blasphemy of the Lord, and I couldn't react. So due to that, like I deserved more punishment from the members. So this, whatever I have gone through, is very very little. So this is the tolerance level being exhibited by the great devotee Haridas Thakura. And whenever he was he was being trying to allure by the prostitute, he tolerated all these difficulties, and later he converted that prostitute into a devotee also. So one another the great devotee who exemplified this quality of tolerance is Parishit Maharaj. When he was cursed by the Brahmana boy, when he made a mistake of garlanding the snake garlanding his father, but he was like he was tolerated, and he was not at all agitated. He thought, okay, there was some, like I didn't I was not behaving in this kind of manner anytime before, but I don't know what happened to me now. And there must be some purpose, and it must be the plan of Supreme Lord. So he took it in that way and moved forward. And also Prahlad Maharaj, the father was putting him in so many dangerous situations, right? And even giving him poison. He was he was not at all agitated, and he was all the time he was chanting the mantras of Lord. Because he had the strong belief that Lord Krishna will come and protect him, even if he is put into the severest phase of condition. So he had the strong faith, and also the tolerance level was too powerful. And Rama also tolerated just for the desire of one desire of Kaikeyi, and also for the promise of Dasharatha. He gave a word of fulfilling Kaikeyi's desire, and tolerated even when he was sent for exile. And Sita Mata was accused of not a chaste lady, but she tolerated all the inconveniences, and even entered into Agni Parisha to just to approve her chasteness. And also Bhishma Deva, for the sake of his father's desire to marry Satyavati, and also he took a vow that he would tolerate each and everything, and like he took a vow that he will never get married, and serve whomsoever sit on that throne, and will not take up that ruling power. So because of that tolerance level, he has to fight against on dharma side. So he tolerated all these things just for the great respect towards his father. And also Pandavas, when Kauravas were and trying to poison them, trying to burn them in a palace made of wax. And when they cheated during their gambling match, cheated in like cheated in many ways, and trying to kill them in like whatever possible ways they could, and plundered their riches, and they were trying to destroy Draupadi. They tolerated everything because of Yudhishthira's promise towards Dharma, and his commitment towards Dharma. And the famous the devotee who tolerated all these the provocations is Kunti Maharani. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.25, it goes like this: Vipata santu tatta sashvat tatra tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam yat syat apunor bhava darshanam. So, Prabhujis and Matajis, anyone would like to recite others first?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yeah.
Dandavat Pranam. I'll try, Mataji.
Yeah, sure, Mataji.
Vipada santo tasaswat tatra tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam yat syat apunar bhava darshanam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhujis.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah.
Vipada santo tasaswat tatra tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam yakshat apnur bhava darshanam. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji and Mataji. The translation goes like this: I wish that all these calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. So here, Kunti Maharani is asking Krishna, like, give me calamities more and more, so that we will be able to remember, and we will be able to see you in all these repeated birth and death. So she is exhibiting the wonderful way of looking at the thing. Like she is looking at the negative thing and turning it into a positive aspect. So every times, like we will be having, or the calamities will be coming, or we will be put into the distressed condition. But whenever that situation comes, that if you are not able to tolerate that situation, then look at that as an opportunity to turn to Krishna and ask for his help. So if we are dovetailing to chanting or hearing more about Krishna, so it will bring that temper down, and we will be able to concentrate on Krishna consciousness activities, and we will be able to remember Krishna all the time. Moving forward, Himanshu Prabhuji, could you please read this pastime?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Vaisika Prabhu's pastime. A first step in the practice of tolerance is to prepare oneself to welcome disturbances when they arise. As the Dalai Lama puts it, in the practice of tolerance, one's enemy is the best teacher. Acting on such sage advice, once while my friend and godbrother Satyadev Prabhu and I were touring through Japan, we were obligated by circumstance to travel for many hours in a car alongside an unruly child. At first, we both felt frustrated and disturbed. However, when we decided to take our encounter as a chance to practice tolerance, we felt relief, and soon we were both smiling after nicknaming our restless Prabhu sent travel mate Guruji. At the end of the trip, we both thanked Guruji for teaching us tolerance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So in this, like even he was agitated by or disturbed by the unruly child, but he took as an opportunity to follow Krishna's advice. Like by this way, he was very much he practiced that tolerance, and he was in this way he was very much dear to Krishna by voluntarily accepting his instruction, and also he took as an opportunity to increase his tolerance level. So next is the tolerance onslaught of material nature. We know that due to acts of material nature like floods, food scarcity, or tsunami, earthquakes, everything, like we are trying to tolerate, and we are moving forward because it's a part of material life. So one of the great devotee who exhibited is Markandeya Rishi, and he wanted to know like how is Lord's Maya, and he had a long life, almost about 7 years of Brahma. So during that annihilation also, he had to go through, like he had gone through all these sufferings. He was tossed by the waves, and he was beaten by sharks, and that these kinds of miseries he had gone through. So, and the next is tolerating for the welfare of entire world. So the first one is Jesus Christ. While he was crucified by all other, even his own disciple betrayed him, but he was so merciful that he asked forgiveness for whomsoever involved in crucifying him. So that was his tolerance level exhibited by the great devotee or follower. And Nityananda Prabhuji, he was most merciful, and he went to one village, and he searched for the most sinful persons with a mindset, if they are transforming, he could transform the whole world. So when Nityananda Prabhu approached them and asked to chant, the dogs took stone and hit him. But he tolerated all the pain and trouble for their own sake, like for that rock's sake. And because his perspective was to establish the movement and to make aware of this honest facts, and to help them to elevate in spiritual path. So next is Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, though he was physically weak, and he was bedridden, and he couldn't move also even during his last days in Vrindavan. So only he was having 3 drops of Charanamrita. But he was translating Srimad Bhagavatam for the benefit of the India world. So that much is his tolerance level. And also he suffered a lot for establishing this movement. His guru has given the order, first one is like you go to West and preach, and the second one is print the books. But he could fulfill his guru's desire after 29 years, and he because he got an opportunity to go to West and preach to all the men in West in 1965. And all these years he was thinking like how to please his guru, and what all hardships I am going through, just neglecting that thing, and he is fully surrendering unto Krishna. And while his travel also, almost 37 days he traveled. And if we are traveling like we used to complain about the jet lag and all these things, right? So we won't be able to tolerate even the small kind of disturbances in our life. But the great devotee, he almost traveled and endured that pain almost for 37 days, and he's almost 70, and the body, the varying weather condition, and all these stress he tolerated. And after reaching US also, he could stay in his friend's place in almost for only 1 month, and after that he went to Dr. Mishra's place. He was an Ashtanga yoga practitioner, and that too he couldn't get along as well, because he was not getting that bhakti yoga, or those who are really seeking the self-realization, or he couldn't preach there, and he moved out of that place also, and somebody offered a place to stay in a pure locality in New York. So he had gone through so much of hardships just to establish this Krishna consciousness. So without any financial support, or that without any support systems. So but he tolerated all these things, and later he changed the whole spiritual atmosphere of this planet. And even in 26th Avenue, he was trying to sell his books. He was trying to hold kirtans, or cook meals for the hippies and feed them. He would clear up and wash their vessels. So one has to know the higher purpose of life, and we have to tolerate the small things in our life, just to reach that higher goal. So it will help us to go ahead in our spiritual path. And also Vasudeva Datta in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he was willing to take up the sufferings of other souls, and because he even though he was a great devotee, he was asking the liberation for other conditioned souls, and he was ready to take births for the reactions of other living entities. So likewise, Lord also tolerating each and everything, right? So whatever we are exhibiting, or whatever nonsensical things we are doing, even though he was sitting as an overseer and permitter in our hearts, he was granting or sanctioning every nonsensical things of us, and he is tolerating the insults of atheists or Mayavadis, and and in the form of Paramatma, he is tolerating unlimitedly. So there are actually 3 steps. First one is tolerate, and the second one is mitigate, and the third one is emigrate. So what do you mean by tolerate? So if you face any situations in your life, there are 3 things to do. Either you face the situation, either you try to change the situation or reduce the effect of that situation, or you try to walk away from the situation. If you are not able to tolerate, you emigrate from that situation. So for example, if your neighbor is making so much of noise, or playing a high level of music, then obviously either you will tolerate by in some other ways, or putting headphones, or you will deviate yourself from some other from this, and deviate other activity. Then the second one is mitigate, like either you will go and complain, or you will approach the building owner, and you will try to solve the situation. Or else, like if you are not able to tolerate, if he is giving so much of disturbances, then you will move out of that building and you will search for some other house, right? So likewise, you have that free will, like you can choose your battle, like what you want to fight and what you don't want to fight. So how do we know, like which things I have to fight and which things I don't want to fight, or which things I have to tolerate and move on, and which things I have to change that perspective. So it purely depends upon the if it is helping us in Krishna consciousness or the advancing in spiritual, and by knowing the higher purpose, we will be able to tolerate, or we will be able to overcome that thing by exhibiting our tolerance level. So first is tolerate, mitigate, or change. Just by these factors, we will be able to overcome all these problems in our life. So so while mitigating also, we will be like, even if we are having any problems in our spiritual life, or anything, like we will be approaching our guru, or the Siksha gurus, or association, our devotee friends, and we will check with their opinions, right? And like, even though like if it is giving us the hard statements, or if we are not able to go ahead with that same situation, the better thing is like you will be get out of that situation. So either tolerate or try to mitigate the situation by checking with cross checking with others, or try to move out of that situation if that is helping you to an extent. So what to not to tolerate? Like if anybody is committing against your guru or the devotee or the teachings of the devotional service, or the blasphemy of the spiritual master or the Lord, if somebody is interfering in your spiritual activities or the services, so you have that liberty. You can just speak over, and if certain things are very wrong, and if you have to react to that situation, or you have to rise to show your concerns, you are very much appreciated, and you can rise over and rise over your concerns over there. And does God tolerate all the time? So yeah, we have seen the situation where Lord Krishna has tolerated, but God also tolerates to a certain extent. Beyond that, like if any situations or any disturbance is happening to his devotees by the miscreants, or if it is too much on his devotees, like he won't be able to tolerate. The example is like when Prahlad Maharaj was tortured by his own father, he appeared in the form of Narasimha Dev, right? And also he had given 100 the provoking situations being given by Shishupala. Shishupala, he tolerated 100 consecutive offenses. Like if he tolerated all these 100 offenses since he had given the promise to his Shishupala's mother, and again like he couldn't withstand over that, and he again exhibited his irritability because of his offense, and also fighting against Bhishma to save Arjuna. There was a huge war was going on between Bhishma Deva and Arjuna, and here Krishna had promised that he won't take up any weapon. But since Arjuna was almost in the level of losing the battle, he had to break his promise, and he has to fight just to save his favorite devotee and friend Arjuna. So these are the circumstances where whether the God will tolerate all the time, or he will react according to the situations or the atrocities being given or showered on the devotees by other miscreants. And next key takeaways. So we had seen the tolerance, its benefits and its limits. So till what level we can tolerate, and what are the benefits, and the scriptural examples like extreme tolerance being exhibited by the various persons during provoking situations. Bhrigu Muni, how he tested, and Randi Deva, how he tolerated the senses, and how the great devotees tolerated the provoking situations by others. Rama, Bhishma Deva, then Haridas Thakura and Parishit Maharaja. So they took as an opportunity, and they had a higher purpose. They know what is a higher purpose of life, and they tolerated. So whatever situations you are going through, but if we have if we lose our higher purpose, then we won't be able to tolerate, and we will be lack of all these good qualities, and we will not be able to get that knowledge, and we won't be able to pass on this material birth and death, and it won't pay the way for liberation. So mainly these provoking situations are arising by all these 6 enemies: lust, envy, pride, anger, greed, and illusion. So there is a famous saying in Krishna book that one's greatness is estimated by one's ability to tolerate other provoking situations. So that actually shows the how much tolerance or the greatness he had. So then we discussed about the 3 steps: tolerate, mitigate, and emigrate. And the tolerance, what actually means is keeping the small things small and not allowing the small things too big, so that we will be able to concentrate on the higher purpose. So if we are wasting our efforts and times in fighting for the things which they are not worthy of, so we are losing the chance of we are losing the chance of getting into the higher goal or the spiritual path. So people will criticize for whatever you do. So if you are doing good or if you are doing bad or if you are remaining neutral, everything, like whatever situation, like they will criticize you. But we have to learn to tolerate just by being in the without being in disturbance. So once one a famous politician was asked a question: what is the secret of your success, or what is the secret of your stamina? So he said, like every day morning I will take all these criticisms, like I will take criticisms by other people, so that is the that is helping me to move forward, and helps me to face the criticisms. So he had tolerated the other people's views or comments, or the other people's insults or the frustrations, their opinions, just by tolerating that, he could become a successful man. So this shows his greatness. So with this, I would like to conclude my session, and also with a small note, like in Chaturshashtakam, in the 4th verse, Krishna is saying, like Krishna said, like he had accepted that burden of teaching everyone about the great quality, and also he had taking away all these sufferings. He is ready to take away all these sufferings, and he is ready to shower the greatest benefit for all of us. So that is the level of tolerance exhibited by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So just by taking away all the sufferings, and just by the burden, just by taking the burden of teaching. So in all these great souls, we have just learned how they are tolerating their sufferings and how they want to good for others. So but in our case, what we are doing is we think, okay, we are tolerating. The tolerating itself is a big thing, and even if we do, we may not, or we may not think good to others. Like we will say, like we are in a very bad stage and I am trying to console myself, then how can I do good or think about others? So that kind of mood sets we are put into, right? So just by taking our the examples, what all we have discussed, if we are trying to imbibe or inculcate that quality, by practicing the bhakti yoga, we will be able to conquer this calamities, or conquer that the knowledge of illusion, and get out of that tolerating by tolerating all these difficulties. So with this, I would like to conclude my session, and I ask for your forgiveness if I have committed any mistakes out of my ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Wow, very nice topic, Mataji, you have chosen. And it is actually beneficial for our spiritual life and material life as well. And nicely explained with Shastric examples how we can apply this tolerance in our spiritual life and make progress in bhakti. So thank you so much again, Pritha Mataji. Such a nice topic. And I especially like the 3 steps you told, na, that tolerate, mitigate, and that immigrate. So very, very nicely you explained, Mataji. Thank you. So now I would like to call Himanshu Prabhu for his views. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. Yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity. So first, Mataji, this song I heard first time in this group. You chose this song and sang it very nicely. It's a difficult song. And your introduction for Mataji was very short, sweet, but effective, and you're so natural. So thank you so much, Mataji, again. Coming to the class, I would, salute Preeta Mataji, because while she was talking about this tolerance, she herself demonstrated. She could have said this with one slide, but she included so much contents and so many examples. Whatever was coming to mind, she included those examples, and she was giving the same message again and again. Thus, she was also practicing tolerance with us by, preaching and giving examples, and then giving us all these uh, instances, as well as learnings of the devotees, and at the same time giving us the key takeaway. And we know even this group is practicing so much tolerance by having devotees who are at different levels. And we have seen in these COVID times, all almost everyone have suffered, have had to practice tolerance in some way or the other, let go some of the benefits, or they face number of challenges. And again and again it comes to mind that if we are the more tolerant we are, the better we can think and better we can manage the situation. And it is also proven that the devotees better manage in such situations. So we have seen like Sant Gopeshwar Prabhuji is stuck there, but he's always sporting a smile and always leading devotional service without being affected. Purna Mataji went through so much pain, but I have never seen, I always see her smiling. I cannot do that. And similarly, like Sadhu Sevan Prabhuji also went through this, and Tisundari Mataji, she was managing there alone. So this group is so much elevated, and all the examples are here, and we can go on. So thank you, Mataji, so much for taking this effort, putting in so much content, so many examples, which this thing appears to be so simple but so difficult to practice. And Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your blessings and kind words. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Himanshu Prabhu, for such a nice comments, Prabhuji. Thank you. Now I will call Venkateshwar Prabhuji. Please come and speak something, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to all Vaishnava devotees. I was little bit late today, but I could start in between. But yeah, the topic was very excellent. It is very essential for progress in devotional service. Yeah, it shows I need to travel a lot to catch up in between at least. I cannot say tolerance is very very far for me, but with your Vaishnava devotees blessings, I think I could do something on that. Thank you very much, Mataji, for collecting all the examples here and there. And it is like few stories. It was very new for me, and I just got some screenshots. Maybe later I will try to go through that. And then really it is big work done background by you all. So you have collected all the data, you have gone through, studied many things and explained it. I don't know whether I have grabbed entire thing. I don't want your efforts to lose it. Really, I somewhere I felt guilty also. I need to utilize all your efforts. Thank you very much for sharing that details, Mataji. And Himanshi Prabhu also has clearly explained Yeah, it is a really tough. Tolerance is not an easy task. That too, being in material world, we need to really look into all our senior devotees, and we take them everybody as an our examples, and we need to practice tolerance. Yeah, thank you very much, Mataji, for giving me the opportunity to speak about. Thanks a lot, Mataji. Dandat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thanks a lot, Venkat Prabhu. I'm very happy to heard you after a long time. So thank you for sharing your views and comments. Now I will call Sant Kopeshwar Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, wonderful kirtan. Heard you after a very long time. And as Prabhu said, I believe not. This may probably the first time. I am not good in countings or remembering, but yes, it is not quite the bhajan that we often use it. So it was really nice. It was tough fun. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for starting our day so wonderfully. Prita Mataji, your notes, your content are always wonderful, Mataji. May it be Sishtastakam, where you took through all the verses, or may it be a tolerance or any topic, your content is always wonderful, Mataji. So I'm learning from you. So please bless me that I can try to I can't say match, but yeah, some come somewhere near you. So thank you, Mataji. And I echo Himanshu Prabhu. Yes, almost everyone in the group has that level of tolerance. I say almost because I don't see myself counting in that, but I have seen all of you exhibiting that tolerance every now and then. And since Prita Mataji is the speaker today, so I have taking her example. I have seen her exhibiting this tolerance in her initial days of sadhana very often. So if I would have been in that situation, I would have created a mess out of it. So she had exhibited that tolerance at that initial level of her journey of spirituality, which is too much to expect from a new sadhaka. But I had seen those qualities in her, and this holds true for other. But I'm quoting her example today. And wonderful session, Mataji. The type of tolerances you mentioned, different examples of it. You quoted examples. How to deal, basically change yourself or try to change the situation or leave from the situation that is tolerate. Nice, Mataji. And what not to tolerate also you pointed out. So which is Guru, Krishna's insult, or anything that basically impedes our spiritual progress. Just want to add something, Mataji. You have already covered everything. Just want to share my thoughts. We usually misunderstand tolerance as always tolerating everything and letting others kind of trample us. So you cleared that out today, and usually come up with the question that I have seen people asking: what is a upper level for tolerance? I recollect Chaitanya Charandas. He has many lectures on tolerance. He very nicely explained it. So I recollect somewhere he has mentioned that that the level of tolerance is we cannot determine our level of tolerance when we are in the phase of ill tolerance, because if we are in the mood, not in a good mood, then whatever small thing someone may do, we may be completely upset. We may act as an intolerant. But if we are in a very good mood, even something bad happens, really bad happens, we kind of we react very differently, and we manage the things as well. If the things also seem to us very something that we can easily manage. So we ourselves, when we are in that phase of being intolerant, cannot actually determine our level of tolerance. So he suggested the best way of doing it is actually pressing the hold button. So hold button is or the pause button, if I recollect, the pause button or hold button. So it is basically pause for a second, and then we should evaluate our responses very rationally, not emotionally. Emotionally, we always tend to justify our actions, but rationally we should try to evaluate our response after taking that pause button. So easy to say, very difficult to execute, because we are already in that mood. We always come up with when we are in that emotional flow, we always come up with different reasons to justify our action. So it is very difficult when we say we should evaluate our actions rationally. But I guess this is a matter of practice, and I hope this should be possible. And Mataji, your example of Mahabharata actually kind of is evident to this. So as you mentioned, and we are all aware that Pandavas had to go through lot of torture by they have been tortured by Kauravas right from childhood, when Bhima was poisoned, to the house being set on fire, or Draupadi's robe, they were put to Vanvasa, and lot of things. But still, while till the point came that the war should now take place, they did not do it on the basis of their impulse. So even before that, they sent Lord Krishna as the Shanti Dut, and they tried to sort out the things. They tried everything that was possible to basically avoid the war, but it is so I mean they had done that pause. They had taken that pause. They thought over rationally and then took that call. So it is not, as Matthew said, even Lord had exhibited through his example, that it is not that we have to tolerate everything, but we have to tolerate, as Chaitanya Charanta says, he defines it as tolerance is something, letting of small things when we have bigger things in our goal. So like, for example, when we have Krishna Bhakti, we can let off small things when we understand that we have a higher goal. But if we see something that something bigger, that would actually deter us from our higher goal, which is Krishna Bhakti, then we should step up. Then we should take some corrective action. It may be a war in case of Arjuna, or it may be, as Mataji said, change yourself, or try to change the person, or simply tolerate, or just move out. So moving out need not necessarily mean being covered. Moving out is basically thinking rationally and trying to remain fixed on that bigger goal. So this is what I would like to share. Thank you, Mataji, once again. I have a small doubt, Mataji, Prita Mataji, that you mentioned. I mean, this is because I have been hearing something for repeatedly some time, and I heard something different. So I just wanted to know the reference about you mentioning about Dhruv Maharaj, Durvasa having envy on Amrish Maharaj. I mean, whereas I have been hearing about Ekadashi Vrat and other things. So is it in Bhagavatam, Mataji? Sorry, I have not gone through the verses of Bhagavatam, so I am just out of
yeah, I'm not sure whether it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam, but in Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj lecture, it has been mentioned. So he had given the two reasons why Durvasa Muni has cursed Ambarisha Maharaj. One is the external reason, like he broke fast before he arrived at place, and the second internal reason was he was envious of Ambarisha Maharaj. So I'm not sure, but it's been said by Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj Prabhu. So because of that envious nature only, like he couldn't tolerate that anger, and he exhibited that thing. So that's the reason he has to go through that all these disturbances. Even Krishna had sent the Sudarshana Chakra to kill him, and later he asked for the forgiveness from Ambarisha Maharaj. So like in both perspective, it's been said, Prabhu, how Ambarisha Maharaj tolerated Durvasa Muni's thing, and how Durvasa Muni was not able to tolerate his anger. So in both the perspectives.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for clearing it out. Thank you, Haribol.
Oh, thanks a lot, Sant Rupeshwar Prabhu. Very informative things you told, and I fully agreed with you told about Pritha Mataji. Many times she exhibited tolerance, we all said. So I fully agree, Prabhu. So thank you so much for your views and comments. Now I will call Mamta Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Danvat Pranam. Ati Sundari Mataji, I missed for some minutes. I got late because we had some get together at night, and reason being got up late, took bath late. So 20 minutes I was delayed, where I missed your Kirtan. So, but thankfully we have the facility on our group of recording. So I'll definitely go through and I will listen and I will relish. So thank you, Mataji. Moving forward to Prita Mataji. Very very worthy topic, Mataji, which is actually required in any aspect of life. Tolerance, either it is grasta, it is career, it is your job, spiritual life, anywhere. It is very much important to remind us as a person in any kind of condition, wherever we are, we need to be tolerant. We need to have this content within us, being tolerant. And same time, we should also know what not to tolerate, which you nicely explained. Same time, very lovely, Mataji. You have not left any corner. You have given the all references. You have quoted all what quotes and the Bhagavatam illustrations, kathas. You try to manage everything what you could put on towards us, and it really needs a good amount of hard work, which can be seen that how much time you have devoted, being having a small child with you and being a housewife, well equipped with all the everything. We as a lady, we have so many duties, but you have given a good amount of time for the preparation. So thank you for exhibiting the example where we can also learn that when we are demonstrating a topic, there we must put all possible content, what all possible quotes and the references. So very nice, Mataji. On the other hand, yes, tolerance is something which we every day we learn, every single day we learn, like a tambe ka lota. We have to clean it every day. We have to learn these all good qualities in ourselves. And thankfully we have this session early morning on Friday, where as I always say, when we go through the self introspection, especially me, I really go on the self introspection during the entire session. So thank you, Mataji, to putting across this tolerance thing. And I was keep thinking where I really fit. Unfortunately, I need to really work hard on this. I think 2-3 days back only, I was just listening the quote of Radhanath Swami Maharaj, that tolerance means is to fix our mind, actually, to fix our mind, to fix our word, and to fix the actions. So this is all interrelated. Fixing the mind, fixing the word, and fixing the actions. And that is for the higher purpose, that is for the higher principle. So that's very, very important. Either it is in spiritual life to have the goal of Krishna, or to have any other goal in our material life. In order to get that, we have to ignore many other small things. Thank you, Mataji, Prita Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Thank you, Aparna Mataji, Ati Sundari Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for your kind words and blessings. And exactly like the main point which you have highlighted here is how fixing on our goal. So the one thing I have to highlight here is like Dhruva Maharaj, although he was not able to tolerate the insult which been showered by his stepmother, but he tolerates so much things while he was meditating on the Supreme Lord. The first one is how he was able to fix his mind. So the whole procedure being explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. So it was said like first 1 month he was on fruits and berries, and the second month he was on grass and leaves, and the third month he was on like just by drinking water he was meditating on the Supreme Lord. So tolerating so much so many things, he was powerful. He became more powerful just by tolerating his senses. So by this way he could fix his mind. So since that word fix popped up, so I thought of sharing this thing. So by this way, without deviation, he could capture the highest goal, that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So many thanks for sharing your realizations, and nicely you summarized everything, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you so much, Mamta Mataji, for your views and comments. As being you had that get together yesterday night, but still you are able to attend the Mangala. So it is really appreciable, Mataji. So thank you so much, Mamta Mataji. Now I will call Purna Premimai Devi Dasi Mataji. Please come and share your views and comments.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And very beautiful bhajan, Mataji. The moment I woke up, I heard your bhajan. It made my day. Very nice, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Mataji, we are not able to hear you properly.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Can you hear me?
Now it's better, Mataji.
Yeah. And Mataji, thank you for the beautiful bhajan, Mataji. It was very nice. And Preeta Mataji, awesome topic, beautiful topic. It was it is very and it was very well explained, like how tolerance is important, what are the types of tolerance, and then the different case studies. Then, different case studies, and then where not to tolerate. Very beautifully, like you have covered each and every point in tolerance, and very well explained, Mataji. As we say in Sishtastakam, it has been said that Kirtaniya Sadahari. We should tolerate. Renadapi Sunichena starts and then it ends with Kirtaniya Sadahari. Our tolerance should be the procedure to reach our aim. Kirtaniya Sadahari should be our aim. So if our aim is to satisfy Krishna, tolerance becomes very easy compared to like. And beautifully, one line I liked in your classes. You told that if you have to maintain a relationship, then with Krishna, then we have to talk. So it was one of the key takeaway I would I would take from this class. To maintain a relationship, in any relationship, we have to tolerate. Similarly with Krishna, we have to when we have to reach we have to develop that eternal relationship in a transcendental way. Then tolerance is very important. And I was just while hearing your lecture, I was just thinking about all our other co-devotees who have been so tolerating, like they used to tolerate. They have tolerated many things in their life just for this devotional service. In this group also, I can name many case studies. All of them have exhibited their tolerance level. Because of that, we are here, and somewhere we are developing. And once Aparna Mataji was telling me that she had she was doing daycare at that time. She told me one thing, like Mataji, earlier when I used to not take decade. Like in the initial days, I used to have this little, I used to get impatient. But when, because of this decade, I have developed patience. Similarly, if we exercise, like I took that as an example, like an as a like model or like procedure to learn tolerance. Similarly, if we practice tolerance in our real life, even in it is if it is not in a devotional service, that practice will help us achieve our goal in our difficult times when it is when it might be of great need. So, and the best thing about your lecture, Mataji, is like that the part where you said you were not to tolerate. So that was really, that was actually, I think, is the need of an hour. Usually devotees think we have to tolerate everything and everything. Tolerating is not our aim. Tolerating for Krishna is our aim. So tolerance to one level is good, but if someone is insulting our or someone is insulting our Krishna, then all, if we tolerate that, then we are overseeing all the sacrifices what our gurus or acharyas have done, or what our what Krishna has done, what he came from. He came to establish dharma. He tolerated so many things to establish dharma so that we can go back to Goloka with him. So because of that big purpose, he came here. He tolerated so many things. And if someone is pinpointing or like not, he's been criticizing our dharma or criticizing Krishna or criticizing any devotee at like any time, we should not be tolerated. If we tolerate at that time, no, we are tolerating people, then it means that we are not respecting Krishna. We are not respecting all the sacrifices of our acharyas. Very beautiful class, Mataji. Awesome class. Lot more to take away. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Purna Premi Devi Dasi Mataji. Thank you so much for your views and comments. Now I will call Vasant Prabhu. Please come and share your views and comments.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thanks for wonderful Kirtan. So, like everyone said, it is a new song for all of us, and you sang it very nicely. And regarding the class, Preeta chose a nice topic, tolerance. Like it is easily said and very tough to implement, because when we been put into that situation, it would not be possible like to think about all these things. But by just remembering these great pastimes, like because a Lord exhibited these pastimes only for our own benefit, while we are thinking and contemplating these pastimes, like okay, we would be able to go through that situation little easily. So if you in one class, like I was hearing, if someone says, okay, I have most of the problems, like I got so many issues in my life, then we need to just remember, okay, is our problem is bigger than what Rama got, like because Rama, Lord Rama, he is Swayam Bhagavan, like and he got all the facilities in his life, but just to fulfill the father's like a wish or desire, he had to go through 14 years like a vanvas. Same with like all these great devotees. So they taken the sufferings like as a great blessings, and they exhibited to the people, okay, in the future generation, okay, we need to have all these things easily. You just take care of like those things easily, so that you will be able to come out in this material world, and you will not be like a settling comfort in this material world. So this is what we need to think about it, like contemplate all the time. And obviously, like you mentioned, this material world is like a dukkale mashashvatam. And if we didn't get any issues, or like if we didn't get any suffering, so now obviously like we will get settled down here, and by thinking, okay, this is the greatest of the blessing or like a bliss. So obviously like this suffering, we may not be able to ask, like as Kunti Maharani was asking. So more thing to contemplate is like if we are not able to remember the Lord during our suffering, then it is very unfortunate thing. So Kunti Maharani didn't ask only the suffering, but she was asking, okay, I need to tolerate and I need to remember you during that suffering. Like that is what important. So the same thing, we may get like the happiness and the distress situation, but it would be our misfortune if we didn't remember the Lord, and if we didn't have like any contemplation or any realization. So that has to be understood. Like then obviously one another example we can say how patiently like wait and need to receive the mercy of the Lord is like one such example is flute. The flute, before a flute being made, like the bamboo tree has to go through so many sufferings and so many problems, and like so many tolerance level. So the tree was there, and we never know like when it was cultivated, and like when it will be cut down, and when it will be like taken as a flute. So even gopis who are like the greatest devotee of the Lord, they were thinking about like a flute, how fortunate the flute is, because we could touch only the body part of Krishna, or like we can see, but the flute, which is waited for so long time, tolerating all the situation, like be it summer or winter, or like all the situation, and how it tolerated, and how it got the blessing or mercy from the Lord, like to touch the lotus lips of the Lord. So and the glorious flute got like a one whole chapter dedicated in Srimad Bhagavatam. How glorious that flute! That was possible only and only since like it was tolerating all the sufferings and all the surrounding situations. So we have to contemplate all these things like in our daily life. So obviously not possible always, but if we make it as a practice to just start like a very little step, then obviously like a Lord will give us a more chance like to remember him through this suffering, or like to tolerate this situation. So just want to highlight this, and thanks all for sharing the realization wonderfully, and it was a very nice way to start the weekend. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Vasant Prabhu, for your such a wonderful comments, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Now I will call Sadhu Sevana Das Prabhu. Please come and share your views.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, am I audible, Prabhu? You can simply please confirm.
Yes, Prabhu, yes.
Okay, thank you. So thanks a lot to Ati Sundari for her beautiful bhajan this morning, and she decided it promptly because I mean we were together. So all of us of a sudden, just 10 minutes before only, she told that she wanted to recite this bhajan. So thanks a lot for the wonderful choice and the way she delivered it. And then Pita Maharaji, I have no words to explain how important topic you have chosen today. It is the foundation of our anybody's spiritual life. And the way you have collected the facts and made them into a very natural flow, like you always do, was very, 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 very important, Mataji. And there is nothing much I can add. I mean, I just wanted to share a few views on what you said, which I really liked a lot. So 2 points that you touched, Mataji, was that miseries, right? And I found it very, very closely related to that three types of miseries that anyone faces in this material world. So those are like Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik, and Adi Devik. So we all know Adi Devik are those which are caused by demigods in the form of earthquake, drought, storm, etc. So you beautifully explained that these problems and these things comes in our life and we have to tolerate. So these three miseries, it defines the overall circle. Okay, anything which are caused by these things we suffer. So if we just change our view and look at these sufferings as opportunities, because they are the stepping stone for us to come closer to Krishna. So we have no control in contributing these problems in our life. They come naturally and they go naturally. Like you explained, Matra Sparsheshu Onte, that shloka. So they come and go. So Adi Devik misery is caused by demigods. Adi Bhotik, which are caused by our by other living entities in the form of enemies or insects. And then Adi Adhyatmik, which are caused by ourself, by our mind, our body. So we know what we have to tolerate now, right? How do we tolerate? That can be understood with the help of a tree. Tree is one thing. If we invest our some consciousness in meditating about tree, it will solve a lot of problems, because all these three problems that we discussed are very well exhibited by the tree. So we all know tree has a life. So it's not matter. It has a life. Now, any type of these three miseries that we discussed, storm, heavy rain, tree tolerates. Suffering caused by other living entities like enemies, insects, very well tolerated by tree. It is cut down. So many insect, literally some insect comes and they are there on the tree all the times. They are the shelter of, tree is the shelter of all of them. And even when the tree is burnt, right, the adhyatmic by oneself, when it is old and it is not able to withstand, then also in the form of dry wood, it sacrifices itself and then helps others. So what we have to tolerate, these three miseries, how, like a tree, which is not a matter, and live a life like tree. This is why it has a lot of importance in our material life. It takes carbon dioxide, gives oxygen. Think of tree, we have to just lead our life like that. Now, another thing that I liked in your session was Shishupal's example. So you told Shishupal was given, like, his 100 mistakes were forgiven by Lord. So if I look myself, okay, so we make more than 100 mistakes every day while doing chanting, while honoring prasadam, while dealing with others. And Krishna is still having hopes from us. So that is another thing that I like about this. Thanks a lot, Balaji. Hare Krishna, for giving us a chance to think of this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very nice also bringing the analogy of tree, and you have compared each and every miseries in relation to tree. So very nicely explained, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sadhu Prabhu. Thank you so much for your comments. Now, I also want to add something like this tolerance. Actually, this tolerance empower us to not let irritating circumstances like steal our peace of mind, and it brings freedom to choice and intelligent response. And and stay fixed in our values and goals. So it is very, very important for our bhakti. As Sadhu Prabhu told, it is foundation for our spiritual life. And Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always, this is very, very dear shloka to him, and he says like everyone should make a garland of this verse and wear it. So it is very beautiful and powerful verse. So that I heard in one lecture that if we read this verse from first to end, then he will tell what we should do. And then if we read this verse end to first, then he will tell how to do. Kirtanya Sadahari, if our tongue always busy in chanting the holy name of the Lord, automatically we can tolerate any situation. So that's all I just want to add. Now we'll call everyone come on the camera, so we'll have darshan of each other.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much, and very nicely explained about what to do and how to do. So thank you so much for your support. It was great having you alongside. So actually I was very much tensed about how I'm going to present this topic, because seems like very basic and simple, but so much to look upon and so much to grab from this topic. But being initiated by your supporting words, I could.
It is my honor to.
Yeah. So thanks for and believe that I could serve to some extent. And thank you, Matajis and Prabhujis, for tolerating the session. And no matter whatever I do, like you are always there for encouraging and supporting me. So by tolerating my ignorance, it helped me to drive the session. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
No, Mataji, it is my honor to serve you. So thanks a lot, Mataji. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Venkat Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandat Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam, Prabhu. Entirely different space, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Venkat Prabhu, Himanshu Prabhu, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Mamta Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Sorry, Mataji, I missed your voice. I'll go through with the recording.
माताजी कुछ भी ऐसा कुछ इसमें किया आपने?
नहीं सब लोगों ने बड़ी तारीफ की है. I'm getting tempted now.
माताजी एक्चुअली ये फोरम ही ऐसा है.
बट माताजी ये भी सीखने वाली बात है. नहीं तो पूरा टाइम हम लोग एक दूसरे में कमियां तो निकालते रहते हैं. The other all 6 days what we do in our material life.